Hello, students. We are back with Tradition and Individual Talent of T.S. Eliot. The essay Tradition and Individual Talent was first published in the Times Literary Supplement as a critical article. The essay may be regarded as an unofficial manifesto of Eliot's critical creed, for it contains all those critical principles from which his criticism have been derived ever since. The seeds which have been sown here gain the fortunations of his substance essay. Tradition does not mean a blind adherence to the way of previous generation. This whole be mere individual and repetition of what have been already been achieved, and nobility is the better than repetition. Tradition in the sense of passive repetitions sound be discouraged. For Eliot, tradition is a matter of much wider significance. Traditions, in the true sense of the term, cannot be achieved. It can only be obtained through hard labor. This labor is the labor of knowing the past writers. It is a critical labor of supplement the good form and the bad form, and of knowing what is good and useful. Tradition can be obtained only by those who have a historical sense. The historical sense involves perceptions, not only the pastness of the past but of its present. One who has the historic science feel that the whole of the literature of Europe, from Homer down to his own country, from one continuous literary traditions. He realizes that the past exists in the present form one simultaneous order. It is the historical sense which makes a writer tradition. A writer with the sense of tradition is fully conscious of one, his own generation, of his place in the present, but he is also conscious of his relationship with the right of past. In the brief sense of tradition implies a recognition of the community of the literatures, a critical judgment as to which of the writer of the past continues to be significant in the present, a knowledge of the significant writers obtained through the painstaking efforts. Tradition represents the prestige of the past. It is the accomplishments, wisdom, the experience of the ages. Its knowledge is essential for really great and noble achievement. What is past and present? According to T.S. Eliot, the past is not seen separately from the present. Through the present, the past is in fact made present. What a poet and artist compose in present, we must compare and contrast his work with the work of the poets and artists in the past. This is to make our judgment more safe and clean, and for to form the idea of reality importance than the artistical works. A writer in the present must seek guidance from the past. He must confirm the literary tradition. Eliot's conceptions of the tradition is a dynamic one. It is not anything fixed and static. It is constantly changing, growing, becoming different of what it is. As the past directs and guidance present, so the present modifies and alters the past. The relationship between the past and the present is not one sided. It is the relationships the past reflects through the works of present writers. Every poet, like Dante, Virgil, Shakespeare, adds something to literary traditions, out of which the future poetry will be written. Eliot Future says that it is not the necessary to know the past as a whole. The past must be examined critically, and one of the significance it is should be acquired. Now we talk about individual talent. A sense of tragedy is essential for the creation of good poetry, but individual talent too is one of the great importance. Tradition and individual talent are not opposite concepts but have an essential role to play in the process of poetic creations. Individual talent is need to acquire the sense of tradition. It also modify the tradition. To acquire traditions can only be obtained by hard labor. The labor is knowing the past writers. It is here that individual talent plays a vital role of distinguish that the past which is present useful is current time. In the conclusion of the individual talent and the tradition talent, in this way, Eliot reconciles the concepts of tradition and individual talent, the stress that their role in the poetic creations. According to Ezra, Eliot criticism is not only dead academic, pedantic, showing the knowledge. It is revitalizations of literature. Most of the critic conclusions this that Eliot's criticism will not only the past as long as they are one of student of poetry. Eliot did a great service to literatures by reforming tasted and imposing a set of habit in reading and writing. He is raised criticism to the level of the science and made all other agree with his logical analysis. Thank you so much for listening, Yanimum.